Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? Give me a second. I'm trying to open the stupid packet of original 3-in-1 coffee, but I can't get it open. Hello, 8Kira. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And hello, everybody. Everyone. Also, what do you mean, Father? What do you mean, Father? Since when do I have children? I guess actually people did call me Dad last time we did the car driving thing. But I didn't sign up for this. I didn't agree to it. What do you mean? No. If anything, that makes me the mother, Vanya. That would make me the mother. But hello, how is everybody doing? So chat, unfortunately, I've had very, very, very little sleep. I tried to take a nap, and I don't know why that got me. Give me a second. Give me a... Huh. Ooh. Oh, I need to do this real quick. Okay, so I try to get sleep, and God, damn it, the horny police are here now. Hello, Cheshire Bones. Okay. So I tried to take a nap. But God came down and prevented me from. See, God came down and was all, Gene, and I went, yes, Daddy, and he was like, you must not wait. What did you just call me? And I responded, well, don't people call you like father? It's like, no, it's if you're a priest, and also it's weird to call me dad. And yeah, and we talked about that for like an hour. So God prevented me from taking a nap. Apparently, you shouldn't call God Daddy. You know, you learn something new every day. But yes, Sky Daddy was Maddie. My daddy in Sky. Religious psychosis gene. I mean, it could also be the sleep depravity. No, not depravity. Deprivation? Deprivation. It could also be the sleep deprivation. Sky Daddy was Maddie. Yes, my depravity, my sleep depravity. I'm sorry, horny police. Look, I had to give you something to do while you're here. Will I ever know peace? There is no peace. There is only war. I'm deprived from that. Okay, but let me do my little thing, everybody. Give me a second while I go through.
If I only could, I'd make a deal with God. I'll call you Daddy for $10.
If I only could make a deal with God, 2 avocados for $10. She said, that's not very good. He said, yeah, well, dear God, isn't money kind of beneath you? He said, it's the principle. I said, do you want avocados or not? Anyways, Carabia, thank you for being first. Thank you for checking in, Lullaby. Who got... This is... Okay, This is so dumb. So, thank you, Carmia, for getting first. Thank you, Lullaby, for checking in. Thank you, Gibbets, for getting third. Thank you, Ali, for checking in. Thank you, Pink, for checking in. Thank you, Aiko, for checking in. Thank you, Hadu Kenny, for checking in. Thank you, Gibbets, for checking in. And then thank you, Aiko, for getting second. Do you see how many people checked in, got first and third before second was ever claimed? Why was it that difficult? Why did it take that long? Anyways, let me say hi to everybody who checked in. Hi, Blossom. Hello, Darkheart. Hello, Naptime. Hello, Karmia. Hello, Boku. Hello, Brookie. Hello, Kimizu. Hello, Addie. Hello, Poppy. Hello, Cheshire. Cheshire or Cheshire? Hello, Bones. I'm going to call you Bones. Hello, Sakona. Hello, Misty. Hello, Silvervang Rose. Hello, Moon. Hello, Gibbets, who did the redeem there. And hello, Yippee Shino. And hello, Kira. How you doing? Hello. And hello, Vanya, of course. Of course, hello, Vanya. But yeah, so I'm drinking coffee right now because I tried to nap and it did not work. And I'm hoping coffee will be like, no sleep. Stay awake forever. That way I can actually do something with my day and not just, sit around. And why is the pinned at least I own a spice rack? Hey, chat. So I own a spice rack. Would you like to know how many spices are in my spice rack? I'd like you to take a guess how many spices are in my spice rack. And ding, 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 Addie got it correct because all of my spices are in drawers, cabinets, and in random places around my kitchen. None of them exactly, Gibbets. There you go. Not a single one of them made it to the spice rack. In fact, I unpacked all the spices that came with my spice rack, bought more spices, and I never unpacked the rack from the box. I think I unpacked it yesterday. It's in the living room, but I removed it from the box. So, you know, that counts for something, right? Exactly. Why use the or the floor? Do you know how long it took me to find out that I dropped one of my seasonings underneath the lip of my like the floor cabinets? Yeah. It took me several months to be like, God, where'd the spice go? Where's the spice? And I cleaned up a thing off the floor. And I'm like, oh, there's the spice. Perfect. I lost it again. I did lose it again. I don't know where it went, but it's somewhere. I think it was the curry powder, actually. Which, to be fair, you can just make curry powder. So that's what I do every time. Every time I'm like, I need curry powder. Curry powder would make this so much easier. Wait a second. I'll just mix up the spice mix again for curry powder. You're a wonderful disaster. Let me get that on a t-shirt, chat. In fact, we should have a t-shirt design contest. You can't use the image of the character. But anything you draw is fine, technically. So I kind of want to have a t-shirt design contest. And then, like, give a % of the proceedings to whoever wins. Wait, that actually sounds like a lot of fun. Chat, do you want a t-shirt design contest? We'll have a thing. We'll have like a flat rate, so that like no matter what, you win a certain amount of prize, and then if I sell the shirt, you get a percentage of the profits. Because fuck it, why not? Or sorry, have a vote. Amazing. Okay, so today, I have a few options, chat. The first option is more Stanley's Parabola. I will not pronounce it correctly the entire time. Expect that. The next option is totally something. I totally have a game ready. I have multiple games. What do you mean, chat? I have so many games totally already picked out that I had planned. Where'd they go? Actually, I know I had games that I wanted to play. So far it's I already beat I'm a Part-Time Worker. I already did that one. We're not doing Rainbow Six Siege, as much as I love that game. I think I would lose any fans that I have. Yeah, no, I cannot imagine doing that. I want to do A Way Out with somebody one day, because I never got to play that with people. What the heck is Ball Pit? What the heck is Ball Pit? What is Ball... What? Oh, that's weird. Cult of the Lamb. Oh, yeah, we can do Cult of the Lamb. We can... Okay, that's what it is. It's Water Park Sim, Cult of the Lamb, or Stanley's Parable. Which I think I might save Stanley's Parable for a Tuesday, so I can play all of it Tuesday to get the achievement. So what are we thinking? Water Park or Cult of the Lamb, chat? Let's make a vote. There we go. I lost chat. Chat, come back. All right. Pola. All right, here we go. Thank you for the check-in, Vividly. Technically, you're not late. You don't count as late until the gaming part begins, because this is just the intro part. You're allowed to come in during this. There's a poll up right now, chat. Please make a vote. Oh, let me make sure the jail cell's up real quick. Y'all have seen the jail cell, right? Is anybody here who has not seen the jail cell yet? I mean, just you know, just because. Just because. So, I mean, it's just a wall. It's just my basement. The basement's fine, right? Like, chat, you don't mind the basement. You like being here. Uh-huh. And then I need you to step back a few steps. That's all it is. A few steps, come on. A little further. A little further. A little further. And thank you. There we go. Mm-hmm. Proud of you. There you go. Just stay in the jail. It's okay. It's okay, chat. It's okay, chat. Come here. Come here. A little bit closer. Here, I'll just pull you. I'll pull you towards me, okay? All right. And then I can do my favorite part. You know what my favorite part is, right, chat? You know what my favorite part is? Shake time! Woo! Oh, I love shaking it. I love shaking the cage. Don't burn any gibbets. No, we're leaving gibbets. Gibbets can fit through the bars now. Gibbets has shrunk, so stop throwing up in the cage. Come on, Chad. Stop puking in the cage. Be good. Behave yourselves. Okay? That's all I ask. All right, back in your corner. Okay, Cult of the Lamb it is then. You threw up. Oh, come on. I'm gonna give you all a mop so that you can take care of it yourself. Okay? Here. We're gonna put the snacks in. There's some pizza, the blankets, the food, Starbucks because somebody asked for Starbies last time. Oh, that's not what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. Why was that turned off anyways? But there you go, chat. Snacks, food, keep it, be happy, okay? Good. Just stay in there, okay. Oh, the screenshot? Yeah. This is the screenshot from when I did the meetup with people. The person in the cat built this entire treehouse with like some sort of weird asset thing. It was really cool. That's not in that game. Like she just had it attached to her model. All of this stuff is like synced with her model. So she's able to like build whatever she wants. And so she just built this treehouse. Don't bonk me. What the heck? Why are we bonking me already? We just started. That's in VR chat. Oh, right. You know, we'll go to a different room. Here. There we are. Okay, so that was in VR chat. Well, thank you for the pets. Which, by the way, when we get the 3D model finally, which is going to cost $5,000, we'll be doing more VR chat stuff. You're fine down there. We're going to play some games. Just watch. And I'll be doing VR chat stuff. So once we get a 3D model, even now maybe actually, I might be doing some like meetups and VR chat and that kind of thing, so I can actually hang out with you lovely people. We'll do like we'll do a world, we'll do a little meetup, meet and greet, hang out for a little bit, and then, you know, do our thing. How's that fun? Sound? I'll bring actual food and eat in VR chat, and just, it's like you're interrupting my lunch. Okay. Let me get the game capture going. I mean, you can also use PC, chat. You can also use PC. You don't need to use VR. Okay, where is game? You know what? It would help if I launched the game. I'm so good at this, chat. I'm doing so good. Okay. Oh yeah, no, but there's a lot of cool models. I mean, like the model that I use right now in VR chat is very cool. It actually is like pixeled graphics and it like staggers from the loading. Cold. Go to the lamb chat. Remember, we're playing on the hardest difficulty because apparently I'm a masochist. I'm not, but apparently I am. I only follow twinks and diva. Am I a twink or a diva? I'm going with diva. I'm officially a diva, chat. Get ready to get diva'd on. I am a diva. Prove me wrong right now. Prove that I'm not a diva. He's a tweeva? I'm a tweeva? Fine. Fine. Yes, the extension. This is the extension one. Oh, do I have to reattach the extension? That's an overlay, right? Give me a second while I fix this. My B chat. Unfortunately, we play so many games with overlays that I have to keep fixing it. All right. I was like, what is this other world? I played the game on my own, like when it first came out, only beat the first guy, and I apparently named my cult Big Booty Buster. Why? Why do I do a lot of things, chat? Why do I do a lot of things? Connect my game, authorize. There we go. Okay, chat. You may need to refresh the screen or the stream, and then it'll be good. Then you'll have the overlay again. It only works when we're trying. So it's gonna be when I summon a new follower. Are you dying? Or you just have low faith? Okay, they just have low faith right now because they have no beds. Santa Claus, do not come to my town. Okay. We're going to go fight them things, kill some things. I don't have any money for beds, chat. Beds are expensive. And y'all make me broke. Eat the dirt, chat. Oh my goodness. What is this? What is this? Divine Blast. I'm in love with that. Yeah, but I have no money. Beds are expensive with no money. Oh, I might be too tired for this. There we go. There we go. Oh, we got flooring. Sick. You do need money for beds. It's like 10 gold. You want this little lammy to be working the corner is what you're telling me. You want this cute lamb to work the corner. That's insane. Oh, I got distracted. You have to refresh the stream. I only just now activated the overlay. I have too many mouths to feed. I have so many gold nuggets. Totally. I totally meant to be just chatting. Thank you for telling me. All right, here we go. Let's do it. He's such a brutal little sheep. Look at him. Look how brutal he looks. Nuggies, nuggies. Ooh. Ooh. 1.5 damage increase. I'm excited. We got Stonehenge. Chat, we're building Stonehenge. We're building the entirety of Stonehenge. Have you all been to Stonehenge? All right, I need money. Gib money. Stonehenge is cool. What happens if I kill everything? Nailed it. You've bested me. Woo! We got aggressive monster shrine. Is it worth it? Probably not. I'm happy. I'm happy. Worth it. Avance is always worth it. You're right, chat. You're so right. How dare it rebuild itself? You better be sorry. I'm just kidding. You're fine. I did not throw you against the wall 50 times. Hello, Kakashi. How you doing? Ooh, we'll do the heart. Colty's going lovely. Double chest. Ooh, ee. Zooey mama. There we go. There we go. I'm sorry. Excuse me. What nap time? Pin of shame, pin of shame. Pin it all the way up there. All right, which way? Left seems good. you? What are you? Hapless Leshy, youngest of the five, 'twas his eyes he lost. Temporal a cat with her throat cut neat, and Comer's ears torn from his head. Oh, chat, you're blocking part of the writing. Chat, can you not block the writing a little bit? Can you move a little, just move a little bit. Chat, just a little move, please. There we go. Okay. And Shimura, once brightest of the five, till the skulls were split. See no evil, speak not, hear not, think not. The one who waits. Oh. Lose red hearts, gain diseased hearts. What? I'm so confused. Why? Huh? What was that thing? Yay! Alright, boss time. We ready? Parent weekend. You're taking your... Alright. Oh, I'm an idiot. Ugh. Wait, I'm not allowed to say negative things about myself. I forgot about that. Oh, fine. Let me go look up a cringe line, chat. Give me a second. Vampire's birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear vampire. Happy birthday to you. Okay, wait. I'm trying to find cringe things. Where's cringe things? Chat, I need a cringe line. Do you come here often? Or not hard enough? I don't know what that fucking means, but... No, I swore! Trying so... I have too many things I must abide by. Ooh, swords. Swords. Oh, all of these are lame. I guess Bane Sword 3 is kind of sick. Wait, why is Bane's sword worse than Bane Dagger? Why is Bane Sword completely worse than Bane Dagger? Sprinkle butt. Yeah, do you come here often, girly pop? There you go. I appreciate that line. That one works. Any kind of cringe. Especially like edgelord cringe. I love edgelord cringe. Where did he go? Oh, stretch. He's just gone. All right, here we go. Oh. Come on, come on. There we go! That is where you've always been. Wait, what is that? What is that? What is what? What? Give me a second. That is where you've always been wrong about it. That is where? Do you mean that is what you've always been wrong about? That is what you've always been wrong about. I'm as baby girl as anyone. I eep. I get tummy aches. I wake up every morning and despite not knowing what to do, I have a little treat and I try to make the best choices I can. I get anxious all the time, bestie. But that is being just as girl. And that's my greatest strength. Why is that on your clipboard? And why is it... Oh. I am converting you. Amazing. Ooh, what's this? Chat, you can be donkeys now. You can be haunts. We did it. Hunts, chat. Imagine if you were hunts. Shrub. Shrub. I'm trying to get a bunny, okay? I'm working on it. Oh, here we go. Hello, Kinsey.
Do not make the mistakes of becoming the servant of your followers. They are for you to use to your advantage. Their faith is a resource, spend it as you would gold, for you can always regain their trust with well-placed gestures of kindness. Let it empower you, let it give you license to do unspeakable things. Bend them to your will. I grant you the power to read their feeble little minds.
I can read your minds now, chat. Yay! Sweet. All right, chat, what are you thinking about me right now? Dark, you first. All right, the Twitch interaction is working. You're mad at Twitch? Valid. Okay, what do we need? We need a... We already got cult level 2. I want the... Oh, where's the farm? Where's the farm? Oh. All right. Hi, Kinsey. Hatterbird. Oh. Oh no. Okay, chat, we need a name of the cult. Chat, we need a name of the cult. Give me some names, give me some ideas. What do we got? What do we got? Puppy cult. Hi, Kinsey again. Oh, can we get a shout out for Kinsey? Oh, I got you. Yeah, I know about the name. Just Pug? Why Pug? What does Pug stand for? Puggers? We're not naming it Clifford, I refuse. I do like lucky number 7. If you can give me something good that Pug stands for, we'll do Pug. But it has to be something funny. Pretty unique, guys. I kind of like that. I'm not naming it Cock. Pretty unique. Good. P period U period G period. There we go.
P-U-G. That has a nice ring to it.
Why? Excuse me? Addie just called me a stinky puppy. Addie ran up to me and called me a stinky puppy. What the heck? Oh, there we go. It's not my fault. Oh, did I already say can we get a shout out for Kinsey? I don't remember if I said that. If I didn't, can we get a shout out for Kinsey? All right, let's build some beds. Pervy Uncle's garage? What the? Oh, wait. Yeah, chat, who gets to sleep here? Who gets to sleep here? Vote for it. We'll see which one of you actually gets beds. All right, 4 votes. Perfect. Gibbets! Gibbets, congratulations on having a bed. Fine. Addie looks tired. I'll give Addie a bed. Where's Addie? Addie, get in bed. Oh, that's not Addie, that's Allie. Never mind. Allie gets this bed. Gibbets has a bed. There we go. Stop pooping everywhere. God, all of you. So gross. Well, I can't make an outhouse. Oh, I need more gold again. Oh, I have to go back out to get more gold. Dang, okay. How much gold do we have left? 6 gold. Okay, I think that's enough for me to go gamble. And I'm not indoctrinating you to the cult yet because that's gonna take up some space. So for now, let's just make more of this. Hopefully you all will, oh! What do we got? 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 Meat! Thank you for the meat, chat. And now my followers are no longer starving. Addie, you're one of those savages. Ooh, stronger weapons. Heck yeah. Oh, I vibes with that hardcore. Bonfire time. Oh, I can't do it yet. And it's so cool that you all are here. All right, we'll allow one more person to join once I get more money. So we're gonna do a little gamba. Hello, Guana Boy. All right, it's time for gamble. I'm so good at this game. Let's go, 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 let's go. Nerd! Look at his low numbers. Immediately have a 6. Get rid of his 2. We're gonna put a 4 here. Hopefully he does dumb. Ah, he didn't. Come on, come on, come on. Yes! Oh, this might be bad. Okay, that one's good. No! Shoot. Okay, I need some more options here. No! Oh, thank you. Perfect. Okay, give me a 6. Ah, shoot. What the heck is going on? What is going on with this one? What is going on? Wow. Wow. I lost all my money. I lost all my money. I lost all my money. It was so quick. I mean, I totally have money. Chad, don't leave me. Don't leave me just 'cause I'm broke. Please, please stay. Well, I wanted to double my money. Is that a level 4 axe? Is that level 4 Icor? What the? What is? Yes. I have money back. I have money back. I never said I was a good gambler. I never once said I was a good gambler. Give me a good card. What do we have? Oh boy. Okay, there we go. Look at all that money we have ready. See, we're fine. So it's true the red crown sits upon the brow of another. But how? We did everything we could. Okay. Woo! Do not show cuties your booties. Do not show cuties your booties, chat. Ooh, that looks pretty. Kimizu, thank you for the raid! Hey, welcome. The patch is rumbling, the vines are shaking, the pumpkin squad has sprouted up in the chat. Big love from the cute chords. Kimizu, come here. You've been here for this, right? Oh, don't worry about all the stuff around. Here, let me clean up real quick. I have to clean up. Don't worry about it, it's fine. I'm just gonna... Okay, there we go. So Kimizu, I wanted to show you in your chat something amazing, something very lovely. Just, you know, it's nice. Look at this wall. Isn't this such a cool wall? What do you think? Do you like the wall? It's a good wall, right? It's the best wall. And did you know that something special happens if you get in the right place in this room? I'm just gonna have you, you know, you're just gonna stay right there, right about here, right there. There we go. Okay, so hi. You're not leaving now. I have you kidnapped too. Yay! More friends! Hello, lovely raiders. My name's LuckyJene. I'm a gambler, a writer, and a soon-to-be villain. And now, you two are trapped. It is getting kind of cramped in here. But hi! Can we get a shout-out? I'm not sure if we already got a shout-out for Kimizu. If not, let me make sure we get one. Shout out, Kimi. You did, thank you, Katamia. Well, what were you doing? Was it a good stream? Did you have fun? And lovely raiders, how was the stream for you? Because I know the streamer might lie. You can't stay forever. You have to stay forever. I'm not letting you leave. I'm trying to hit, you know, the partner numbers, and you know, now that I have more people kidnapped here, it makes it easier for me to become a partner one day. I just figured, you know, this is going to be a lot easier than me, you know, trying to get people here organically. You just lock them in a cage whenever they come by, and then you just build and build and build and build. Exactly. So I hope you enjoy it here. I'll only shake the cage a little bit, okay? Like here, come here. We're just gonna do a little shake, okay? Okay? Just a little. There we go. See, it's fine. It's comfy. A little bit more, and there we go. Stop throwing up. If you, y'all, need to keep food down. I'm not gonna give you more food and snacks if you guys keep throwing up. You happy to stay? I'm glad you're happy to stay. But hello, lovely raiders, and thank you so much for the follow, Joseph Quest. I really, really appreciate it. And everyone who came in, thank you. But yes, if you need to raid and run, feel free to do so. And if you want to hang out while we play Cult of the Lamb, feel free to do that as well. Always happy to have you. And I promise I will not do anything bad to your chat. I will probably not do anything bad to your chat. Water, please? Do I have... Fine. I'll give you water later. Don't worry, it's fine. I'll let you hydrate. Also, thank you for the check-in, Moonflower. Back to the game. What was I doing? Let's see what the question mark is. What are you immune to? What is this?
Peace be with you, Crusader. I seek only the truth and the light, but I may be of service to you. I can increase the loyalty of any follower you choose.
Ooh. Ooh, who's disloyal? Y'all are all disloyal. What the heck? Fine, chat. Decide. Who needs to be more loyal? Make him loyal for me, chat. There should be an overlay where you can vote. As nobody votes. Not a single person votes. Fine, I'll pick myself, chat. It's broken? Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's fine. Then I will pick... Red Moon. There you go. Be more loyal to me. Nice. The red deer. Oh dear. Don't abandon the cult. Why are you abandoning the cult? The cult is so cool. I named it Pug just for you. It is a cool game. I do like this game a lot. What do you cannot take over the cult. It's my cult. What do you mean? I want mine. What are you whispering for? Hey, hey. No one's allowed to leave. Yes, you can join. If Addy leaves, you can definitely join nap time. In fact, I will place Addy with you right now. Addy doesn't want to be here. Also, I just fed everybody. What do you mean? I'll take a heart. You know, we'll see. We'll see. We'll have a vote. Don't you worry. Once we get to that stage. Well, what do we got? What do we got? Well, we'll all have a chance to vote. He was unlike the rest of his kin, for the others dealt with flux, chaos, famine, and pestilent war, things which is the constancy must transpose. Yet he was inevitable, the abstained, and the irresistible, the one who waits, the truly peculiar. My brain cannot read these words; they're too big. Oh, my brain. I'm too tired. Long sip? Okay. Boss time! Boss time, boss time, boss time, boss time, boss time, boss time. Chan, you ready for boss time? Why are you pulling a gun on me? Put the gun away! Don't try to rob me. Put the gun away. I have no nuggies. You cannot rob me, chat. It's illegal. It's a crime. Chat, you can't do that. It's illegal. And as a villain, I know heavily what's illegal. Ooh, give me more hearts. Mmm. Yeah, exactly. I'm the one who knows most what's legal. Come on, come on. New weapons, new weapons, new weapons, new weapons, new weapons. Yeah! Oh. What do you mean the law doesn't apply to you? Mm-hmm. This poor baby. This poor baby. Do you see how pathetic that was? I feel so bad. All right, chat. It's time to get some votes going. If you have not gone through and made your character yet, you beat up a toddler. Congratulations. Oh, here we go. Let me open my throat for this one. You ready?
You see me in chains, reduced to nothing. But it was not always been thus. I was bound to this wretched place by the bishops of the old faith. They betrayed me, left me to rot. Each of the 4 chains that binds me are guarded by one of the bishops. Destroy the bishops and you break the chain. Break all 4 and I will be free. To defeat the bishops, you will need to become stronger. Sacrifice a follower to absorb more power. This will aid you in the quest to free me.
Oh, sweet. Chad, who are we gonna sacrifice? We're gonna sacrifice somebody. We're gonna sacrifice somebody. We're gonna sacrifice somebody. I wonder who it is. Y'all, I was not gone that long. How are they already starving? All right, let's see what we need. You got a Gmail notification. Oh, yeah. Cool. Let me see what this email is real quick. Oh. I need to turn that off. Okay, I kind of want the stone mines. I do want shelter. Maybe we should start building shelters? Let's do shelters. I think shelters are going to make things a little bit nicer. Oh, it just makes your bed nicer. I don't want to make your bed nicer. I don't care about that. How many more do we need? 1, 2, 3. All right, let's make sure everybody has a bed. Oh. Who doesn't have a bed? That's what I want to know. I'll wait till y'all go to sleep. Wait, who's sleeping over? Who's this? Moon, I just gave you a bed. What the heck? All right, Moon, apparently I didn't give you a bed. Come over here. Wake up. There we go. Go to sleep. Don't be an idiot. All right, chat. We ready? Who wants to be the first? Do it! Oh, wow. There's already 3 of you. Remember, there'll be 1 more after this. 6. 6 is solid. 7. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, Infernal! Look at you being a deer. You can worship, I suppose. And you... Actually, no, not yet. Ugh, fine. All right, chat, 1 more. Oh, well, Kimizu. I accidentally hit accept already. Congratulations, Kimizu. You can also worship. Took too long. Took too long. Now your candy's gone. Why are you all so angry? My faith is so low. I'm gonna sacrifice somebody, chat. I think it's gonna make you all happier. Fine, I'll do a ritual. It's time to sacrifice somebody. Oh, that's actually gonna lower my faith. Okay, I'm not gonna sacrifice anybody yet. Oh, okay. Let's see. Instruct someone. Afterlife. Ooh, yeah, here we go. All right, chat. We believe in sacrifice, apparently. I don't want to kill you so badly, but I have to kill somebody to continue. And, well... we're sacrificing the AI. We're not gonna have to sacrifice anybody else yet. There we go, chat. I like this.
Vampire weapons.
And now we have another sermon to do. And lastly, we have a doctrine. Can I swap these out, or am I only allowed so many? Okay. Y'all, you're pooping everywhere. What's up, Addie? What do you want? If you were truly a great leader, wouldn't this place look nicer? Fine, I'll build decorations. What the heck? You know what, Addie? You know what, Addie? Giving you a new job. You work on the farm now. Am I adopted? Probably. I don't know by who, though. Nobody's taking you yet. Cancel. Apparently I need more decorations. I guess we're just gonna build these for now? There we go. What is Silver? Silver, what do you want? I'm building. Then go rest. Go bed rest. What the heck? I know, right? You have to wait until I have a new follower that I can put onto the raffle. Why do you all want things? What do you want? Okay, how's the farm doing? I feel like I'm missing something. Salmon mashed potatoes. Y'all are getting berries and you're gonna like it. Yeah, where are you, Addie? Why are you cutting down trees? There we go. I got an epic broom. Yes, Echo? What the heck? Y'all poop anywhere. Okay, am I missing any poop somewhere? Yep, I am. Fine. Allie, you're also gonna work on the farm. Oh, I can't make you work on the farm. Okay, well, apparently y'all are just gonna worship. Enjoy. Thank you for the follow, 87606. Well, I can't. It's not my fault. I can't make a toilet yet. Don't blame me. Okay, maybe I can find a toilet here somewhere. Stone Mine Missionary, Demon Summoning Circle. Okay, next tier has the outhouse. Is that okay, Chet? Can you wait until the next tier? Oh, I need a seed silo. Man! Okay, I knew I was forgetting something. Alright, time to go kill some more things and get a seed silo. Maybe if you all just quit pooping on the floor, it'd be different, chat. Oh, it's him. Finally. Been waiting for you in my temple. Come witness true power. Sick. Alright, what do we got? Ooh. Ooh. Nailed it. Card. What do we get? Extra heart. Why am I glowing? Oh, because y'all gave me invincibility, apparently. Wait, poison damage? Heck yeah! Rolling around at the speed of round. Got gonna follow my ramble. And, they heavily do look like it. Alright, hopefully y'all are not starving by the time I get back. Oh, wood floors. Okay, I like that. I like wood floors. That'll work. You're not hungry, you're fine. I cannot believe you're late. How dare you be late? Don't worry. I'll send you to the gulag later, it's fine. We'll have you do hard labor. I need to hire somebody to draw me a fridge so that we can have a fridge to put art on. You're late because of the internet. Fair enough. he forgot to open the stream. That's crazy. Crazy work. What do we get? What do we get? What do we get? What do you get? What do you get? Ooh, 20% chance of gain. Oh, that is good. Ooh, what is that? Wait, that looks good. Oh, health halved. Receive double damage. Lame. I thought it was gonna give me something good. I should have gone with the other one. Hi, Onyx. How you doing? Oh, you will absolutely be put in jail, but that'll have to happen later. Once we're done with this one. I have a chance to run right now, but you know, good luck with that. You all will be put in jail. Don't worry. Don't worry. Why? Because you're late. Obviously, you need to be kept here longer. All of you do. What in the heck? It's too bad. It's too bad. It's gonna have to. It's gonna have to. Done. You're gonna be here for a few minutes? No, no, no. I'm gonna keep you in prison forever. This bullying, you're right. It is. You're gosh darn right it is. Ooh, fishing. Why is he wearing a nose? I'm trusted. Moreau, you have a sword? Okay, Moreau gets a pass. Moreau is looking at a sword. That's cool. That's cool. Ah, fine. No, get out of here. Sick. Oh, we're gonna fish later.
How about we make a deal? You let me free, and others will be on jail, and I won't be late again.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. I need a better deal than that. Enjoy your dailies.
Turns to Gene, who claims he's a trusted adult. There's this red anime boy on the internet trying to trap us.
That's crazy. Why would he do that? I can't believe he would do that. Insane. It's okay though. I mean, honestly, he seems kind of trustworthy though, so you should probably just go with him. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No. Sorry. You're gonna have to stay. We ready? There will be snacks. I don't want any of those. Boss time! Exactly. Fine, I will give you all snacks, but you have to stay in prison, okay? What the heck is this? What would... do I don't think I want to do this. Feels like a bad idea. Should I do it? I don't... what did that do? Did I get a tempo? Okay. Weird. That's solid. I'll take that. 3. Oof. I can just get 2 hits on him each time. Oh, it's gonna be nice. I get it. Chat likes biting. You want to throw a lot? I can't throw. I don't have the thing unlocked yet. It's time. Let me look at the controls. Settings. Oh, heavy attack. What? Yeah, I don't have heavy attack yet. Fine, I'm gonna make the cage shake. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna make it shake. Y'all can't blame me for that. I grow tired of you, little lamb. Time to put an end to this frivolous masquerade. Oh, that's crazy. Sorry, I'm kind of locked in right now, chat. Go. Hello, 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 Goth Siren. How you doing? Done. Nailed it. Well, I suppose you'll do this. Enjoy your quests, have fun. You have taken in beating heart of the heretic. Red Crown can now feast upon the heart to unlock new crown abilities. Fun. We got it. Very good, chat, very good. We did very good, did we not? We all did amazing. Ooh, we acquired a little trophy. Why am I German? Because it has been redeemed. Pets, please, I'll be good. Fine. Little pat for you. There you go. But I will pet you when I get back, okay? There now, chat, you can be chicken. Look at you, chat. Don't you want to be chicken, chat? Chimgum. We will see if I can pet you. Oh shoot, it is dark in here. Ein Moment, please. There we go.
Leshy fell before you like grains of sand before a tidal wave. Here we go.
That was it.
What?
It's a shepherd without a flock. Is that it? All right, here. Get little pets, Addy. And where are you? There you go, little pet. Once I unlock Bunny, chat. But I've not unlocked Bunny yet. Ooh, offerings. Give me offerings, chat. Nice. Okay, I need seed silo. Thank you for contributing to the totem. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Why is somebody hungry? Fine, let me make you food. Can y'all not be hungry? Okay. Oh, enjoy doing your dishes. What's the plot of this game? What the heck? Echo died. Why did Echo die? Hey, Calypsy, thank you for the raid. What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Echo died, no! We're trying to free a great old thing. All right, we're gonna go put the grave in the corner. Wait, what do you mean I gave you a deadly meal? Wait, I made poison? What do you mean I made poison? What? What? Why is that a dish I can make? Why can I make a deadly dish? Addie's dead. I didn't read it. I didn't. Oh, fuck. Oh, sorry. Hello, Raiders. Hello, Raiders. Hello, Raiders. Welcome, 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 welcome. Let me pull you over here. Don't worry about it. We're just gonna do a little thing. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Look, I just lost some people, so I need to bring some more people in. So hi, welcome. Cool. You know the drill, right? You know the drill. We're just gonna put you back in the corner, and thank you. Stay here. Hello, lovely Raiders. My name is LuckyJene. I'm a gambler, writer, and a horrible cult person, apparently, because there's one more person who's going to die, and I don't know who ate the last dish. No! Yeah, so, thank you. How was Repo? Did you have fun? I'm sure you can come back later. Come into the out now? No, you cannot come into the out now. I'm sorry. No coming into the out. Oh, go get some food then. Thank you for coming by. Dang. I am sorry. I did not mean to kill two of you. I will no longer make a deadly meal. Why is that an option? Do you know also why I couldn't read it, chat? Because the text is over it, so I didn't actually pay attention to it. Yeah, Eddie, you're dead for now. I'm sorry. Hi, Silent. It's been a little bit. How you doing? So there's an overlay. You can make yourself a cult character, and once I get another potential follower, you can, you know, join. Can I resurrect them? We'll see. That sucks. If I'd known, I wouldn't have made that. I do apologize for killing you. It's almost your birthday. Oh, well, congratulations. You have to come by when it's your birthday, and I'll sing you happy birthday. Oh, the crops are doing so good, too. Hey, Allie. Sure. All right, chat. Vote for it. Join. They are old. They're fine. All right, let's see who we got. Brookie, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're so old. Insta people. All right, let's clean up all the vomit. Go to bed. Moon, why are you always sick? All right. You're going to work as the farmer, thank you. Wait, why aren't you doing farming work? What did I tell you to do, Allie? Go farm. There we go. No, Allie, you're farming. Apparently, I'm killing off my townsfolk, so, you know. It's important. Okay, let's not make deadly dishes. All right. There we go. Okay. And y'all keep pooping everywhere. Bye, Moreau. Be good. I guess we have some more beds now. Imagine having bodily functions. Yeah, it couldn't be me. Alright, let's do the crown. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Ooh, I like the DC's heart. I'll get an extra heart. There we go. That'll work. And a sermon. Wake up, everybody. Give me faith. I am not rude. You're rude. There we go. I didn't mean to feed you poison. You're the one who chose the poison dish. Cannot blame me for that one. Imagine willingly eating poison, you know? There you go. Go sniff us. See, now we have food for you all. Stinky chat. Stinky, 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 stinky. Mila! Milla? Wait, Lily Pad? Do you go by Milla? Fine. Fine, chat. Wait, do I need more followers? Oh, there we go. Spider. Spider, spider, spider. Oh. Hello. I'm good. How are you doing, Starshine? When was the last time you came by? Tempest gauntlets? What is this? 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. But how are you doing, Starshine? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoy your time here. There we go.
Pathetic, sniveling, viling puppet to the Red Crown. You have failed the youngest of us. We are the bishops of old faith we protect against heresy such as yours. We are the guardians of the true word. We shall not tolerate such blasphemies.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. No! 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 Don't take my no! What did they do? What did they do to you? Okay, they just made you hungry. They just made you hungry. It's okay. We can deal with hunger. Fill me, I mean feed me. Enemies will drop 2 times more fervor. Okay, love that. Ooh, Twisted Wonderland's a lot of fun. Oh, hello. I feel as if this is the first time I've been able to catch your stream. I'm working when you're on. Really? Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, no, today's actually a longer stream today. And for those of you who missed the karaoke last night, I did manage to record some of it, so I might be posting some of the awful karaoke I did the other night. Hello, Lily. How you doing? It's just a chill stream today. Very, very unfocused. Reveal the map, get an extra heart. Why would you ever want to reveal the map? Is there, like, any benefit to revealing the map that I don't know of? Like, am I being a goof for not choosing to reveal the map? I know some of y'all played this game, right? But yes, hello, lovelies. Oh, 1 second. I can't actually see my redeems. Give me a sec. Do-do-do. But Vikra, how you doing? Thank you for the head pats as well. Karaoke was fun. Karaoke was so much fun. That was such a long stream. I don't know how I managed it. It was insane. Yeah, but I mean, can't I hit every part of the map? Why would I ever not hit all the parts of the map? Unless some of them are just fights. But I mean, even all fights give you loot, right? Aw, I'm sorry. Yeah, I had a couple people who were like, I was just too sick. And I'm like, you know, that's totally valid. It's a night, TBH? Valid, valid. It is a night. It is an EP night. Give me potatoes. Oh, pumpkins. Why not call them potatoes? I just killed the snail. I didn't mean to kill the snail. Sure, it's fine, right? Also, for those of you that I killed, I'm sorry. I promise not to kill you again. I didn't cross my fingers. I don't know what you're talking about. You were wasted. Crazy business. Absolute crazy business. Why'd you get so drunk, Addie? Ooh, I think I want to swap this. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny. Dagger! That's a vibe, though. I mean, sometimes you just want to drink a lot, and I get that. But yeah, at least have a fun time in VR chat. Oh, I'm doing so bad. Also, be careful. VR chat really does kind of promote alcoholism. Not like saying that you're going to be an alcoholic for being on VR chat, but too often times people will, like, you know, get pulled into it. I have a lot of friends who became, like, full-blown alcoholics of VR chats. Wait, has Addie been Addie, have you been drinking too much in games? Addie. Addie, what have you been doing? Honey Bunch. Y'all need to take better care of yourselves. Come on. Your health is important. How are y'all supposed to watch me if you get sick? And remember, your liver fails, it's gonna be awful. It's gonna be the worst. take care of yourselves. That's fair. Ah, here we go. Let's go, Gusion. I kind of like him. Look how goofy he is. I got too excited. Oh, shoot. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oop. Yeah! Woo! Oh, did you see that one heart that I got back because of the rejection? A 10% chance of damage mitigation. Oh, that should not have happened. That should not have happened. That was hard. Oh. Oh, I got so lucky. I got so lucky. Oh, baby. Oh, all right. What time is it? How long have we been going for? We've been going for exactly 2 hours. All right, chat, flip a coin. Heads or tails? You drink a lot of alcohol. That's how you get drunk. Chat, heads or tails? Alexa, flip a coin.
Heads.
Heads. Did you say heads I keep going, tails I keep going? I'll see after I do the
Vessel, do not worship me. Do not give offerings in hopes of gaining my favor. When you return to your cult, you shall find a new offering chest. There you can provide offerings that in my generosity shall turn to gold, so that you might strengthen your cult. But I'm not easily satisfied. The same gift offered too frequently will cause the price to be lowered. Yet fear not. Over time, it will grow in value once more.
Oh, I enjoy alcohol, personally. I love the taste. Fine, fine. We'll go a little bit longer. I'm going to do all the stuff we need to do at base. We'll do maybe a little poll if you all haven't done it yet. Remember, chat. Oh, Gibbets, why are you sick? Bed. You know what, Gibbets? You also get a present. You get a big gift. Here's a big gift. Bed rest. All right, let's not make a deadly meal. I didn't intentionally kill you. It's not like I can heal you now. What's up, Allie? Oh, that is such a cool broom. Okay. Okay. We're gonna do a blood moon ritual. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, jealousy isn't your color, Addie. Moon, why are you... Okay. Moon, you have a bed. Oh. Bed rest, go. Why have you died? What the heck? Why are you all so easy? Why do you die so easily? Y'all are so... No, you died of illness. I'm barely gone for a day. I fight one mission and all of you die every single time. Okay, well. Okay, where's the woodcutters? Let's unlock the woodcutting. There's only 4 of you left. We had 7. Oh, I have no pumpkins. All right, let's see what I can do for this. Okay, ritual feast, perform ritual. Feast. Yeah, I'm gonna start making y'all feast. Oh, heck yes. Y'all are having a feast, chat. Feast time. I'm glad some of you are still alive. The problem is, like, I don't want to leave because every time I leave, y'all die. Okay. Maybe I can unlock the outhouse soon, and that'll work. I have plenty of money. I have so much money. Oh. Dollar bills, y'all. Exactly. Pumpkin. Thank you for the pumpkins. I'm gonna make pumpkins, Addie. You're also dead, so you're not getting any pumpkins. But, you know, everybody else can have a pumpkin. There we go. Why is there a giant poop? Why is there giant poop? Who pooped? Who pooped that big? I just left. I was gone for 3 seconds. How did y'all poop that much? All right, chat. Let's get indoctrination to people. Who wants in? Who wants in? Join the queue. We have one participant. I guess we'll take that one person. You can't join because you're dead? Welcome, Keek. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll revive you. Build, go build. What do you want? Fine, okay. I can't do that one yet, but I need to do, we'll do one of these. Alright, let's try again. Alright, who's joining? There's the overlay. Please click on the overlay. You may need to create a character if you've not created a character yet. And there we go. We have one participant. There you go, nap time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There we go. Wow, gains faith when building better sleeping quarters. Nap time. This is you, honey. Nap time, you're here. All right, well, I will figure out how to revive you later. I don't think I can revive you yet. You're a big fur thing.
Anor.
Vampire axe, heck yeah. One second. I don't want to read, I want to smash. Dang. Yeah. Be a nerd. Oh no, evil. 5 points on the Oh, they all become. Wow. Wow, it all became fights. I don't want to read, I want to smash. Gibbets and Aaron are no longer ill. Heck yeah. Ow. Alright, cool floors, cool floors. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Okay. Interesting. We have a new spot to go. Spore Grotto. None of those gave me mushrooms. That's lame. Okay, well. What's wrong with the mushrooms? Extra heart, sweet. What, the mushrooms creep you out? Why do they creep you out? Because of the voice? Alright, what do we got? Better trust, I'll take it. Special? Cool. Okay, we'll check them out. I'm sure it's fine. Tell me more about him, though. Right. I guess we just go straight ahead, right? Battle, battle, battle. I'm sure it's fine. Battle, battle, battle. Let's go. I love the little friendly cannibalism. Cannibalism is so friendly, chat. You just eat people nicely, okay? Heck yeah! More damage. I'm a dummy. Why'd I do that? Love bites. Oh, wow. Wow! What the heck did I just do? It's so bad. Okay, I think I'm too tired to keep going, chat. I think that's gonna be the end for me. I'm two eeps. I'm two eepies. Dedged, I am dedged. I will bite you all, chat. I'm going to consume you. I have to eat you, chat. I'm sorry. Like, what am I gonna do? Not eat you? Does that mean I should not eat you? Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the menagerie. Come on, chat. A little eating you. Just a little eat. What if I eat you just a tiny bit? Okay, just a little cannibalism. It's fine. A little cannibalism hurt nobody. A little cannibalism hurt nobody, my little voidlings. Right? Little nibble, little eats, little bites. It's fine. You don't need all of your body. You don't need all your flesh. It's an itty bitty and tiny amount. Small little bit, okay? Well, I'm gonna eat a little bit of chat. Just little snacks. Just, Cook me like one of your French hens. What do you... Your Honor, nah. That is still one of my favorite little things that happen. Okay, so I need to figure out that programming thing. Ah, shoot. Chat, what if I only do a stream? Like, what if I do a stream that's only like one stream for a day? That way I can learn how to set up that programming thing. Cause I need a no, I can do it on my own time. Wait a second. I just said, I don't know if y'all understood what I just said. I said I can learn to do a programming thing on my own time. Like me streaming is not my own time. Oh, look at Brooke. Brooke, you're doing so well. My own time. As in, like, you know, when I have the time to do something, instead of, you know, I can't do that, chat. I cannot do that. I would hate that so much. The joke is you have no free time? Well, no, I totally do have my own time, but I'm like... Streaming is my time. I choose to stream. It's not like this is somebody else's time. Because I need to learn Python so that I can learn how to do... So I can learn how to make the thing that tracks chat, and that way it will, it'll read out what you say. And that way I can put you all in court. That's what the goal is. And that way I can actually have somebody, like, defend themselves, but without having to actually have them, you know, be able to chat. They would just type it. Which I think would be so cool. Right? So basically how it works, it uses a program to follow a single person in chat when they join the queue. And then it reads out everything the person says in text-to-speech. It's not difficult to do, but you have to have the knowledge to do it. And once I learn how to use like libraries and all that stuff with Python, I can have it work with Twitch. And meaning then that I can do all sorts of cool things. So I can put you all on the stand for whatever crime I think you deserve to be put on trial for. Okay. I do need sleep. And I'm gonna go do some work as well that I need to do. What did I do, Gibbets? I'm sorry I ignored you. Did I ignore you? Oh, were you talking to me? Hello, Mortal Monarch. I do need sleep. Hi. Okay. Gibbets wants to poop. Why does everybody want to poop? What'd you give me? 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 Gimme. Yay! New follower! Woo! Thank you for that, Pats. Being stinky. I accuse you of being stinky! How do you plead? Then we can have chat vote. Well, I could even have a lawyer, and I could have a lawyer, and I could have a person who's on trial. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think I'd want to do like a maximum of like 3 people. Hello. All right. I am Eeps. So let's receive the rest of this. There we go. Perfect. And I think it's time, chat. I think it is time to call it here. Let me save real quick. Oh, don't bonk me. Why are you bonking me? I need to end stream. I need sleep. Can I do a cute voice? What kind of cute voice? I mean, I can do a little bit something like this. That's all. Like, please. Whiny. Or I can do a... Anyways. Yes. We're gonna go raid out to somebody. Who do we have? Necro Neville. So, He's bullying me, lovelies. What are they doing? Oh, doing something weird. Okay, Silver Vang Rose. Wait, Silver was here. Are you currently playing Phasmophobia? Are you currently watching my stream while playing Phasmophobia? What the heck? You're just sitting in a corner. I'm currently on your stream. What do you mean? That is insane. That is insane. That is so crazy. You know what? Get followed, nerd. You know, chat, we're gonna bully them. Go bully them. They're watching me while they're currently streaming. So everybody, here we go. There's a raid message. Copy it. Y'all have been amazing tonight, by the way. I really appreciate y'all so very, very much. You ready? You ready, lovelies? I'm gonna go get naps. Mwah. Eat well, everybody. Bye.